No, it's okay, Jenkins. You don't have to go on the compost heap anymore. We've had another subscriber. So I've splashed out. We're like McLaren's, this workshop now. Look, got ensuite facilities. Yeah, I know. And you've got two options. You've got the executive blue towel, yeah, or apparently all the rage in Kensington at the moment, you know, hygiene and all that. Roman style, sponge on a stick. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you need to be first down in the morning though. Yeah, not too pleasant otherwise. Oh, and mind the nails. Do your Farmer Giles no good at all. Hello, welcome to Tweed's Garage. In this video, we're going to be doing some more on the Honda Express. 20 years on the drive. Will it run ever again? Who knows? Anyway, this is part 3. I'll put a link in the description down below, down there, for the playlist, so you can go and watch the other ones if you haven't already. Yeah, so we've taken the engine and gearbox out of the frame, and it was on the bench down here, and we've been working on this. So we've been digging into it, checking it all over, making sure it's all right, and then starting to put it back together. So, come on in. Okay, I can't leave you hanging there. What I'm going to do is take the engine and gearbox out because it's filthy, as you can see, needs a good clean. I can't get onto these screws on the reed block here, and I want to get some heat on there. I don't want to, don't want to damage those threads. So I'm going to take it out so you can watch me doing that. All right, let's undo these. Oh, of course it's different. Right, what are we this side? 14 that side, 17 this side. Well, good news on that one is the bolt is turning in the hole, which means the engine is free to move up and down, which is good. Let me just undo that. The other things we need to do is disconnect the wires to the alternator and the ignition. They've got to come undone. Down here, cables are all disconnected because we've taken the carburetor off. Brake cables are disconnected because we're working on that. So just a case of that off, and the rear shock nut at the back, bolt at the back, undone. I think we'll knock the stand down as well. Be easier doing it connected to the bike than trying to wrestle it on the bench, wrestle it up. Yeah, so I'll just disconnect this shock absorber bolt. Right, what is it? 12. Of course it is. Undone as well. We did put a little bit of the old magic coil on that, but actually the shaft of it looks quite clean. Okay, let's try and disconnect the wires. We've got a pink to pink, black with white to black with white, and white to white. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, there we go. All wires still connected, that's a bonus. Earth wires disconnected because that was bolted up to the back of the carburetor, so that's okay. HT lead, that's alright, that comes down the seat post, so that's not attached to the engine. There's another cable here, brake cable, that's not caught up on anything. Rear shock's loose. Right, stand up. Real Slim Shady, please stand up. Go and find a tapping stick. Right, Thor tapping stick number 2. Oh, dead easy. Give it a little wiggle. Betty. It looks like brand new. And then we'll just park the rest of the sickle up somewhere else. That's it. So there we go, one Honda Express engine and gearbox unit and a loose bracket. Anybody remember where that went? But no, we can get to those screws quite nicely. Yeah, see, you didn't want to put a blowtorch on there. There's a cable running right behind it, so we would have melted that. But we can get a little tappy impact on there and just persuade them out a little bit. Right, I'm going to degrease this and then we'll see you. Oh, I know. Oh, you're in shot. Right, we'll release this front brake cable. Found the reason that it won't come off. It was rubbing on the wheel and it's taken off the grey coating and of course gone straight to the spiral liner and just rusted it out. So we're not going to be able to get this out of the throttle assembly. So time to cut it off. Moves now. There we go, simple as that. And hopefully we can undo that as well. So I can get to this throttle cable. Just a little tweak. That should unscrew from there. Oh! Does it move? Throttle cable moves. Result. So I've cleaned the engine and gearbox assembly. I saved you that pain of having to watch me do it. I don't enjoy doing it. I don't enjoy watching it. Shouldn't imagine you do, but it was pretty filthy. It's amazing how filthy these two strokes get. I just had the feeling that Susan, the dinner lady, just used to sort of pour the oil in all over the tank and everywhere just to get it in. So yeah, so I've got to undo all these screws because we've got the assembly on its side. It says this in the manual as well. If you put the bike on its side, you should be able to take the cover off with the oil in it without losing any oil. So I've got to remove the winder handle. It's not really a Kickstarter. For those who haven't seen the previous videos, this is actually a winder, so you sort of kick this down a few times to wind up a big spring in here, and it sits there as stored energy until you release the pull the back brake, which pulls this lever back here, which releases the spring, which turns the engine. So yeah, all very ingenious, but that's all. I've released the energy out of that, so hopefully we shouldn't have any springs bouncing out trying to kill us or take our eye out. What else is on here? This plate, it's sort of 3mm plate, about 2mm sheet steel plate. Just copied the cutout from the centre stand bracket and then drilled 2 holes for your reference. Those 2 holes are 100mm apart exactly, and drilled them for the I think 8mm bolts, 8.1mm holes for clearance, and they go through there lovely. And it's using the centre stand bolts just to bolt the plate to the assembly, and then you can just drop this in the vise and it holds the old engine and gearbox up for you to work on. So let's dig in. Right, remove 10mm bolt off of the winder handle. That's probably like the other one. Keyed. Some aren't, some are, but yeah, Honda tend to have a rounded groove in the shaft that the bolt goes through, so even if the bolt's loose, the lever doesn't come off the shaft. Remember its relative position, but it's quite funny actually. This one's up here. I don't think it's ever been off, but all the ones I see, they're sort of round here. Yeah, but anyway, so that's okay. I have got a new seal to go in at a later date, as David Silver had them in stock. So as before on the SS125, what parts they had in stock, useful parts, I ordered them, you know, before they disappear. Never know when you need them. And again, JIS screws, Japanese crosshead screws, and these are a bigger size, and rather having a dot, they actually have a little cross. I don't know whether that means they're JIS and slightly bigger, next size up. But anyway, I've got a set of JIS impact bits as recommended by Dino. Handy little recommendation. They are available on Amazon. I mean, if you're interested, let me know. I know some people have Amazon shops with stuff they use. Yeah, so if there's anything I use like that, I could put it on that. If you're interested in that, let me know. I mean, I might make a couple of pence out of it. All helps the channel. Yeah, it might be things that you're interested in. Anyway, moving on. So, impact wrench, Taiwanese made. They're a sort of copy. I can't remember the original makers, but this is, I suppose the kids would say antique now. You can tell it's sort of done some service, all mushroomed out there. Made in Taiwan, come in these little blue cases, and this will age me a bit. I bought this from Blackbush Market when I were a nipper, so I've had it years, but it still works. The only thing I can't do is reverse the way it turns. You can have it impacting clockwise or counterclockwise. So it's stuck on undoing, which is useful. So I'm going to go around, just give these little sort of tap, see how we do. Not going to whelp it too much because we're only resting on the flywheel cover the other side. But yeah, let's give it a go. We'll use a lighter hammer. Let's start in the middle where we've got the most support. Make sure I don't belt you. Cool. It's going. There we go. I mean, the advantage with these is because I could have used my impact gun, but the trouble is, you know, unless you're really pushing down, you could chew it out. Whereas with these, it's going round as you're beating it into the screw head, so the chances of it jumping out are a lot less. But they are, boy, do we need it. And then what I do is sort of put a twist on it as much as I can, undoing it. And you can feel it go. There we go, that's that one done. Just work our way around. Drain screw. Yeah, good job done. The good thing is if you hold tension on it, you know, like that, like you're unscrewing it, and load it up, you can feel when it goes like that. There we go. Right, last one. There we go. All of them undone with no tears. So the good thing with an impact driver like this is you're hitting the thread downwards into the housing, so you're helping to break it out of the housing, and it sort of adds a little bounce to it as you start to turn it. So if you see one, grab one. They might be old-fashioned, but they do the job. And considering a lot of these holes are blind, but some are open at the back, so you know they've been allowed to get water and mud and salt getting in the back of them, so getting them all undone is a result. It's a bit like the Rolls-Royce theory of engineering. Why use 2 bolts when 15 will do the job just as well? So I think we're all the way around. See if we can find a little tray for the screws. Are they all going to be the same length? Hopefully. There we go. Let's make it back a bit, because I know what will happen. That will happen. Are they shorter? Yep, of course they are. That's a short one. That's a long one. Is it obvious where the short ones are? I think they'll be short ones. Let's have a look. Yep, yep. Long, long, long. Yeah, I think. Okay. Could be worse, could be a bantam. Use about 15 lengths of screws. Right, out, 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 out. All out. That's just the drain screw, so it's loosened, but we'll leave it in there. Right, tappy stick. I was wondering what these little grooves are for. It's probably to stick something in to give it a little jemmy. Warm it up a bit. You might have to drain the oil and put it in the vise and hold it whilst we're tapping it. Okay, let's drop the oil. Whatever's in there. Looks oily coloured. Cool, how long is that? Well, it's a nice colour, which is a good sign. If it was orange, I'd be worried. I reckon it's about another 10,000 miles in that oil. Let's move the free advertising. There we go. Nearly gone. That's half a litre, so I'll have to check how much it takes. I mean, the good sign is, the engine hasn't run for 20 plus years, but the good sign is the oil's in there. When the crank seals go on these, tend to drink the transmission oil as well. So, yeah, half a litre sounds about right. Oh, actually, maybe the drain screw, it is another screw. It goes through. Oh yeah, there you go. So you can't leave the drain screw in because it's one of the securing bolts for the cover, as well as a drain plug, just to catch us out. Okay, let's have another go. Now we've removed all of the screws. Still sounds pretty tight to me. A bit of a ring. Oh, I think we heard something going in. Yeah, that nice hollow sound of victory. We'll go there. We don't want to go right here because you'd end up breaking the casting off. So you go try and get as low down as you can. Oh yes. Oh, that's the sound. Like a stern Spanish lady on the maracas. You're in trouble when you get home tonight, boys. Right. What we can do is put a screwdriver. Don't like putting screwdrivers in, but there's a little gap there and there. Not a lot. I can feel it. It is moving. Right, let's tap away with the wood for a bit. Got a gap. Just spin it around the other way, do the other side. Another bit of casting we can get on there. Just here. Oh, there's a bit there. Oh no, we can't get in there. Haven't been able to get the reed block off yet. Oh, there we go. Just bounce it. Now I don't like putting steel on aluminium, but if I can have a bit of gasket on the lower face, a bit of plastic on the top face, ease that in. Of course, we've probably got all the shafts going through as well, sort of, so it's got to come up reasonably square. There we go. Should things fall out? I think it's just the gasket holding it. Oh, there's a spring. Spring has sprung. Good thing we didn't drop that in the dirt. Right, let's have a look. Well, that looks alright. Look at that. Like it came off the factory in 1979. Nothing appears to be broken. And it's clean as a whistle in there. So they're the sprung pawls that engage with the starter. And the starter spring drives that gear. And this is the shaft and sprocket that the kickstart attaches to wind it up. Gasket took a beating, but don't worry, I've managed to locate some new gaskets. So, right, let's put some clean gloves on. What else? I heard what one of the tinkling things was. Have you ever tried putting gloves on a sweaty hand? Forget that. Right, it's clean oil. So I think that is, yeah, it's been running that way, you can see. Oh, well that was pointless. As I said, you can see which side it goes against the bearing there. Look, you can see the witness marks on it. So we pop it back there like that. And then all we've got to do is find where this lived. There'll be something to do with the tensioners, or this. I think it's must be for this, because this is your starter engagement. Must need something to return it to there. Let me peruse the manual. As I suspected, there it is. There, that's that. So I need to take this shaft and this starter arm off of here and put it in the other case, because the spring engages on one of the holes in the plates over there. So clean the gasket surfaces up, ready for the gasket to go on, the transmission to go back together, and discovered where the spring goes. It's the sort of retaining spring for the start mechanism. It goes in there like that and springs out really easy. Okay, the trouble I had, it's not going to do it now, I'm on camera, hang on. Like that, okay. Oh, right, I'll show you how to put it in anyway. This is the spring, and it's got a short end and a long end. So the long end drops into the hole, this small hole here, like that. It seems to sort of defy logic a little bit, but I've tried it all the way around, and this is the way it works. So the long end goes in the hole, like that, and then the mechanism drops on. This straight edged lobe goes against the starter lever at the back of the transmission, and then the crooked one with the sharp edge is the latching mechanism for the starter ratchet. Okay, so you push that down there, catch it on there, and normally when the camera's not going, you can get it on straight away. Like that. We'll just tuck it down. Hopefully it will stay there. There. Okay. So now that latches like that quite nicely, and it's what you need to do, says in the manual, you sort of pre-wind it a little bit so that that dot lines up with that tooth on the latch there. That's your start position for reassembling the transmission. So, brief explanation how this sort of little mechanism works and the transmission. So it's a sort of sprung-loaded starting mechanism, and you've got your automatic clutch and drive assembly. So on the outer case, you've got your spring in here, and then your sort of ratchet with its teeth that engage, which I'll show you on the end of the crankshaft. And then this is just the latching mechanism to stop it unwinding until it is asked for. You know, when you pull the brake lever, pulls the lever, moves this, moves that. This is released, release the spring's tension, turns this around, which turns the crank around. Okay, so that's that bit. We'll look at the other half. Okay, so that toothed sprocket on the end of the spring shaft sits in here amongst these four pulls, and these are sprung loaded, and when you're winding it, it will be turning this way, so these will just spring out of the way like that. So you probably hear that, you can hear that noise when you're turning it over. As soon as you release the spring pressure, the sprocket turns this way, and because of the shape of the teeth and the teeth on these pulls, it'll engage with that sprocket, and then it will turn the engine over like this until it gets up to speed and starts. Once it starts, initially, again, because these are running faster than the sprocket, they will jump out because the sprocket's pushing past and will push them out the way. And then when the engine gets up to a certain speed, centrifugal force actually spins these up out of the way, about 600 RPM. These all move out of the way. So when the engine's running, they're normally out in this position, and then they return when the engine stops, ready for it to start again. So that's the starting side of it. Clutch, similar sort of system. Under here you can't quite see, but there's a clutch shoe there and a clutch shoe there, and they are sprung loaded. And then when the engine is revved over a certain RPM, centrifugal force forces these shoes out against this drive ring here, which will then drive this round, driving the sprocket, driving the chain to this gear, onto this gear, which sends the drive out to the rear wheel the other side. And that is it. Single speed, so just relying on the engine speed to control your forward speed. But yeah, sort of a nicely engineered little compact unit. And yeah, the more I go over this, the more I'm astounded at the engineering quality of everything, just for a simple, you know, little shopper hopper moped. Yeah, sort of Honda in their sort of peak time, I think. So yeah, things we've learned. As I said earlier, you need to take out the drain screw because it goes into here, so it still locks the case. Also, when you pull the drain plug out, found out in the manual, you only get about 0.6 of a litre out, and the reason is because there's this baffling in the bottom. Well, this is lower than the drain point as well, so there'll be oil in here, and oil in here, sort of easier to see on this bit here. You can see the baffle plate here, so there'll be oil sitting in there, and the drain hole is, where's the drain hole? Drain hole's here. See, so you've got a little gallery there for the oil to drain. So you'll have oil sitting here, oil sitting up to there, oil in there, up to there, and in there, and along there as well. So if you ever want to do a full oil change, yeah, the only way to get it out really is to yeah, take the gasket off and drain it out. Oh, and another thing, I think I said it maybe earlier on the video, when I was trying to unseize it, I was turning the engine from you viewing, looking at the flywheel. I was turning it clockwise because my theory was that way the nut wouldn't come undone as you were putting effort onto it. But if the engine's rotating and you've got no trouble turning it over, you should always turn it, looking at the flywheel, anti-clockwise. And the reason for that is because of these gear teeth and these this sort of starting pull mechanism. You're turning against it, so these will engage, those pulls will engage on this, and you'll be trying to sort of wind all this, and you'll damage this, well, probably break or stretch this chain, you know, because it's being stopped from turning by this. Well, it's not at the moment because the sprung's blimmin' sprung out again. But anyway, yeah, you get the idea. And interestingly, it's got a little cast indicator in there. I'll have to have another peruse of the manual, see if that's got any meaning. Pre-wind, pre-tension the starter. There. And I think hopefully that holds that, puts tension on this, holds all this in place when you drop it back on. Okay, so before I button this back up again, I'm going to replace, I sort of bought a couple of seals. As we got it apart, we might as well change it as I've got it. So just a couple of oil seals to replace. So there's one on the final drive shaft, so we'll just move that bearing over there, out the way, and then nut is removed, and then out comes the shaft. Seems in reasonable order. A little bit of, well, not corrosion, but just surface marking where the moisture's been sitting at the bottom edge outside the seal. Let's see if we can hook that seal out. I've got a seal hooky tool, whether it'll fit. Oh yeah, that'll fit nicely. Let's move you up a bit. so you can see the action. Okay, hook that in there. And it just hoofs out, just like that. There we go. Oh, easy when you've got the right tools. Just feel that bearing. Yeah, feels okay. Bit of rust on the outside face. We'll just clean that bit of oil out of there. Yeah, feels okay. Feels good. I think it's just surface rust. And then the new seal, genuine Honda. Give it a light oiling. There we go, it's in there reasonably square. Give it a little socket and a tap. That's it, that's better. There you go, looks nice and square. Bit of oil around there. Yeah, actually the old one's not too bad. Still a bit of give in that, but the new one's better. Right, there we go. All wire brushed up nicely. So pop that back in. Oh, not as fast as that. In a more controlled manner. Like that. There we go. Right, bearing back on. Okay, that's that one on. Ready for the gasket. We've cleaned all the faces off. That's well on there, that gasket. So yeah, I don't normally like to use razor blades, but that's what we had to do to cut through it. I think it was the original gasket, probably made by this company. These are, as you can tell, with a warning on. They're old stock gasket sets, but made by NP. I think probably made most of the Japanese bike manufacturers' gasket sets anyway. So yeah, I managed to pick up a few of these for the Express. That's handy. And of course, get it on the right way. Get it on the right way. Like that. There we go. And that just tucks under there, like that. It's just a tensioning blade for the bottom of the bottom chain. And we're ready to go back together. Right, outer cover to go on, like I say, as you saw with the ratchet set. So hopefully the spring won't fall out when we pop it over. Get it the right way. Gingerly hold it upside down and see what goes on. Oh yeah, and don't forget that little washer there as well. Okay, lining up. Oh, well there you go, what's going on. Well, hang on, keep quiet. There we go, there we go. Just a little tap and we're all back home. That can come off now. And then we can set it up in its right position when we put it back on. See, this is why Mrs. Tweed says I'm the reason we can't have anything nice. Look, I cleaned it all and it's filthy already. Okay, I have got a spare one of these, but looks okay, and we'll see how it goes. We'll try and keep it original. We'll just replace the one, whereas this one doesn't involve, hopefully, pulling this all apart again. It can just be changed from the outside. So we'll worry about that later. Right, just remember where all these screws go. Put a little bit of something on them, and then just remember where they all go. Here we go. Drain screw, that troublesome drain screw. Let's get that in first. With washer, goes in there. And then we had 3 short ones down this end, didn't we? Come on, you were paying attention. Definitely a short one there. Short one back there. And another short one back there. That's all the short ones. Okay, and because they were tight coming out, I suspect they were torqued down, and the manual says M6 screws 6.5 to 8 foot-pounds. Right, see if I can rig something up to use these bits on a torque wrench. What's that, Jenkins? Yeah, he's quite right. Jenkins is quite right. I should really check that the release action and everything works before doing it up tight. Yep, I'd say that works. See if it winds up again. Yep, that seems to be working okay. Latching and releasing, so we'll continue to tighten it up. Okay, right, torque wrench. Right, now up to 6.5. I think we got them all, but we'll go around again. I think, what was the maximum? £8, 6.5. Yeah, I think we'll put £7 on them all the way around. Okay, it's all relatively cleanish. The only thing I didn't do, but I did think it might go everywhere, was pour the oil in. So we're going to have to get it through the dinky little hole. Right, here we go. 14mm ring spanner. Perfect. Well, it would be perfect. What was it hit? There's something in the way. You see that? Yeah, let's see me out a bit. Right, original oil back in. Gasps all round. Can you even see anything? Or was it all jug? It's all jugs. Need the old, oh yeah, concentrate. Need the old
It is straight, square, curved, circular, the precise shape of every moving part it clings to, lubricating, cooling, and protecting. Oil is too small a word for it. It is Castrol GTX liquid engineering. Fit it in your engine.
Was it Castrol or Duckham's? I think it was the green one when it was being poured. What did they put in it to make it green? There we go. Surprisingly no metally bits at the bottom. A little bit of dust, but that's about it. That's been sitting for a while. Oh, there's a bit of gasket. There we go, oil in, that'll do. That's most of it back in, some down the vise. And then sort of a joint holding bracket for the, I can't remember if it was the breather tube or the HT lead, and sealing washer. There we go. Jobs are good. Let's wipe that off. Just call it oil proofing for the engine stand. All done. So that's the starter pedal in its correct position, rather than previously up here. We suspect that Susan, the racy dinner lady, probably wore high heels, so had the pedal up here to make it easier, you know, to get your stilettos over. But yeah, that's where it should be, so that's all okay. There's no return spring on this, keep it out of the way, but the rubber, the hole in the middle, it's just a rubber sort of grommet, and the friction on the shaft stops it moving around, but it was sort of dropping down, so I cut a new one, drilled a hole and cut a new one out of a bit of rubber that I had, and that seems to work. Okie dokie. Right, there we go. No oil out the bottom. Moving on. Right, so I've cleaned all the rear brake parts and defurred it, and it's all gone back together quite nicely. I just thought you'd like to sort of see, it's quite involved putting it all back together. So what you have is, you have, like on the front, you have the old wear indicator. The arrow's a bit furred up there, you can't see it. And like on the front, it's got a big lug compared to all the smaller splines, or a big spline compared to the smaller spline, so it can only go on this shaft one way, which is, where is it? Quite obvious, there. Goes on that spline there to line it up. Okay, it's got a scroll through it, a bit of grease to sit in, and then it also has a little pip on it which coincides with these 3 marks on here. Okay, so 3 marks there, and then there's that arrow there, if you can see it. That arrow is for this indicator here, when you've reached the maximum shoe wear. Okay, so I'll sort of do a dry run for you and show you. So see if I can do it with the camera in the way. That goes on there, that goes on there like that, like that. There's not a lot of room in there. And then this, you've got a lining mark here, lines with the front edge of the brake lever here to go on. Okay, right, so that needs to be about there, but what you do is you line this mark up. When the shoes are new, it's this mark here, and then as the shoes wear, you can take the shaft off, move it round one spline to the middle spline, and then you've got another allowance of movement to a third spline, and then when the wear indicator gets to there, then the shoes have had it. Okay, but when you're if you're putting your original shoes back in, of course you made a note of what mark it was because you could see it and all the crust, but if you're putting new ones on, it's this bottom mark here lines up with this mark here, and then this lever lines up, front edge of this lever lines up with that mark there on the casting. Okay, and yeah, and then that falls off. Oh dear, like you say, it's a bit of a juggle. I've got to do this when trying to squeeze the shoes on as well, which I won't do on camera. Right, like that. That goes in like that. Oh, yeah, and you've got to get the spring in as well. Don't forget the spring. Spring. This is going to be fun. Right, line that up like about there. Where are we? Yeah, about there. So, I'll wriggle it on a bit. And then I'm going to move it to there. That lines up there. And that lines up there. So that's your first position. There we go. Interesting, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to put it together while Short's not here, because it's going to involve swearing. So there we go, shoes on, lined up with the sort of first mark there. And it's in line there, when that mark's there. Line up there. And then the wear indicators down there, so it's got a long way to go before we need new shoes. In fact, it doesn't even reach there, so until you move it around 2 splines, it won't use up all the shoes. So that's where we've got so far, and yeah, I think you agree. The more you sort of dig into it, I mean, it's a tiny little thing, but the little bits of detail and engineering on it, and you know, aids to getting things right are quite astounding for something that was just, you know, basically a shopping basket on wheels. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a little like and hit subscribe, and give a little comment down the bottom. Yeah, more Dinner Lady stories, and we've had a few more. Yeah, they're always good. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. I think that's it. Yeah, cheerio. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, my potties have got on a wobble on. Is there a car coming? No. Arse. Secure the potty. Car. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. What's his name? Hello! Go on again to the, what about the link to? Linky.